And we are live. Hello, all of our friends. And we are just so glad to have you here tonight. And this is going to be a great night because it's going to give us a chance to kind of see where everybody is. We have a lot going on. Some of you are under 2 feet of snow. And yes,
And it's not Indiana.
Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, and not Virginia. Praise the Lord. So we are so glad. Not that we're not laughing. We're not laughing.
No, we're not laughing. We're just happy.
We understand, and we understand that it is hard when you have all of that snow. But we're thankful it's not us tonight. And so we are just so glad to have all of you here. We are, and tonight we're going to hit a topic of, we're leaning into March, and March
leaning into spring.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see. I saw the guys out today and in the neighborhood, and they were out putting the mulch in the common areas.
Already?
And there were little buds coming up. I couldn't believe it.
With as much up around here.
I know, as much cold as we've had. I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So we've got people who are coming in from all different directions. I'm so glad to have you here. We'll take a moment and say hello to each of you as we move throughout this evening. But Miss Janice, what have you been up to this week?
You know what? I've really been thinking a lot about our Modern Home Economist challenge. It has really been all that's been on my mind. And so I've got my little printout right here where I'm filling in my stuff. Now, I do have to fill out some of the boxes at the bottom because, I kind of started a little bit early because I knew the challenge was coming. So I'm going to summarize all of that later on tonight. But I've been thinking a lot about it. And just so you guys know, if you have not downloaded your printable already, I did put it in the description box so that you can get that from us. So yeah, you can get that. But I've really been thinking a lot about the challenge, and I've been looking at the comments and the notes that people have been leaving us. And Leona, people are excited. People are excited.
No.
And I think, like us, they too want to be better stewards of what they have. They want to become modern home economists. And my first thought was that this challenge is not about deprivation. So one of the things that I want to do is to gently clarify something that I said last week. So I talked about the fact that, I'm not making struggle meals. And I am trying to cook as I normally do. And I got a comment from someone who I believe didn't understand struggle meals the way I understand struggle meals. So let me just clarify that. So when I use the phrase struggle meals, I wasn't talking about cooking on a tight budget because many families are working within a very tight budget with small numbers. And trust me, been there and done that. And that takes strength, and it also takes creativity. And I mean creativity. And so what I meant are meals made without systems. Struggle meals from our perspective, from the MHE perspective, is meals made without systems. It's reactive cooking that happens when we're stressed, when we're unplanned, or when we're overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Those are what I mean by struggle meals. Now, there is dignity within cooking within your means. And my whole premise, not just with the things I do with you, but the things that I do individually on my channel, is all about serving my people with dignity. And whereas there are many of us who have a robust food budget, some of us have a more tightened food budget. Some of us have a very narrow food budget, but every person needs to be able to eat with dignity. So that's what I mean, cooking within your means. So this challenge is about building systems so we don't have to cook reactively. It's
Mhm.
about stewardship, not survival.
Well, Miss Denise, whoo, I'm going to drop the mic. Woo, girl. Oh my good. You're
I have
absolutely
thought
right.
about that a lot though since then, because I was like, no, she didn't understand what I meant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And sometimes I think people think I don't want us to come off as being hooty tooty or what do you
no,
say, hoity toity or whatever.
no,
And that is certainly not the case because we are cooking within our budget just like you all are because
right.
both of us are retired. We're not getting a paycheck every week or 2 weeks. And so we know what it is to have to tighten things up
Mhm.
and stay within the budget. But let me just say that, I hope that all of us are at a point within the community. I'm glad that she felt comfortable enough to question it.
Yes,
And
yes.
so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And that's where we want all of you to be. If there's something that, we say and you're not quite sure about what we meant, please let us know. Please
Mhm,
let us know because we'll certainly explain whatever it is.
mhm,
So I am excited about tonight. And
mhm.
last week we leaned into the fact that looking at the fact that we have been doing a lot of learning,
Yes,
and the fact that this is Miss Denise's line that it was Apron Diva. She used to always send these cute little cards, and I somehow or another always got, even before she really knew me well, I always got the art and science of
yes,
homemaking, and I loved it. I loved it. I pinned it
yes.
up everywhere. But as we have worked together, that's absolutely what it is.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
about being able to teach the art and the science because the art portion of it is the creativity and
Yes.
having fun in the
Mhm.
kitchen. And I was talking to a lady the other day, and she has, of course, it's herself and her daughter. She's got grandchildren there, so it's a real family, a real
Mhm.
community that's living in her home. But cooking is not her thing. Or as she said, my thing. That's what she said. And so we started laughing. But the reality of it is that everyone doesn't necessarily like to cook, but it's fun. She did say she watches every Wednesday night, and she said, "You all are just so funny." And she said, "I really enjoy the cooking portion, when you get into cooking on Saturday." She said, because even though cooking really isn't her thing, she said, "I do enjoy watching you all cook." And so
I love watching other people cook too,
I know, I know.
and
So
eating what other people cook.
yes, so we are at a point where we want this to be fun. We
Yeah.
this is not a challenge to make you feel heavy,
Mhm.
because at this point we're trying to lighten the load. That's really what it's all about. We want to lighten
Yes.
our pockets a little bit, and we want a little extra money left over so that we can spring into spring, because we're going to talk about some things that, as we work on our week one commitment, we're going to talk about some things that will get us into spring, because we're homemakers. So
Yes.
that means that our job is not just in the kitchen. We've
Yes.
got some other things we need to do. So we have set our monthly budgets, and I'm hoping all of you have done that. I know I've talked to a couple through the comments, and they're working with it. And some, because of extenuating circumstances, aren't able to start it now, but they definitely have planned to get it started in the month of March. And we certainly congratulate you. We appreciate that.
And let me jump in right there too. So
Hmm.
those that can't start it now, I
Hmm.
encourage them to go ahead and download the printable so they can at
Absolutely.
least start like for week 0, where they
Mhm.
begin to think about things. Because
Mhm.
sometimes that mindset shift is half the battle. And I told you about the struggle I've been having with a couple of
Yeah.
different. So that
Yeah,
mindset shift is a bugbear. It
it
really is.
is. It is. So this week, I guess I want to ask you all in the chat, what really surprised you, for those of you who started with week 0, where you were working through your pantry, taking a look at the pantry, trying to see what you have, what your plans were going to be? What surprised you about week 0? Miss Denise, what did you figure out surprised you?
Well, you know what surprised me most, and this is something that we've talked about for week 0, was
Mm-hmm.
my impulsiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm pretty good for the most part of sticking to my list, sticking to my budget,
Mm-hmm.
but I will get a bee in my bonnet about something that I want or that I need to have. And it's all I can do to get myself not to make that impulsive buy. And I'm not near as impulsive as I used to be, but I
Mm-hmm.
still am. So back to the McCormick spices. You guys know I like McCormick spices. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to go to Walmart this week to buy some things. Now, my store for the month, well, we haven't talked about our commitments yet, right?
Not
So
yet, not yet.
I'll
But
come back.
that's okay. Yeah.
Well, I plan to use Aldi as my store,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have my cat litter or my cat food. So my non-negotiable is cat food and cat litter, which I have to get at either Kroger or Walmart. And I went to Kroger because I had a coupon for free eggs, and I need to pick up a prescription. So I thought, okay, I wanted to really save. So I thought I'm going to buy what I need to buy at
Mm-hmm.
Walmart. But I didn't want to lose those free eggs, and I had to go to Kroger anyway for my prescription. So I went to Kroger, I got the free eggs, and I got the prescription, and I left the store. I didn't buy anything. Well, I got the eggs and the prescription. Then I
Mm-hmm.
went to Walmart and got the cat food, the cat litter. And then I thought, it makes no sense for you to leave Walmart and go to Aldi for the stuff you need. I says, you're in one store, get it done, just get it done here. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next grocery shop, you can go to Aldi because,
Mm-hmm.
since I got cat food and cat litter
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, I shouldn't have to buy that next week.
Right.
But when I got in that store, I started thinking about the McCormick spices in those cute little jars with the red lid. And I needed the garlic powder and the onion powder. And I was out of onion powder. I do have some garlic powder left. And I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it. I realize it's impulsive. I realize I'm paying, like $6 for garlic
Mm-hmm.
powder. I could probably get half that amount if I spend half that amount if I got the Walmart brand, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go ahead and get this brand and then I'll just refill it. So me and my sister were there, we were walking through the store and then I said, now listen, I said, we're talking about a mindset shift. What am I doing? And I showed her the bottle. I picked up the bottle like this. I said, now look at this bottle. It's a plastic bottle. It's not even glass. It's
Mm-hmm.
got a cute little red cap on it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the labeling was on there wasn't even nice. I thought, you are not buying this. So I put it back on the shelf and I thought, you don't need it this week. And when you
Mm-hmm.
buy it, when you go to Aldi next week, you're gonna buy their $1.10 bottle and just refill your bottle in the pantry. But that was what I found was the biggest struggle for me,
Mm-hmm.
curbing that impulsiveness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny too, because when I was doing the Daniel fast with the church,
Mm-hmm.
nothing fazed me. I could walk through the store and I was woman of steel. I'm like, no, I'm not buying that, not that, not that, not that. It is not on our eating plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, if you could do it then for 3 weeks, I thought, yes. So
I know. It's hard, and I have to admit that I did my pantry inventory, and
mhm.
I was very detailed in making sure, trying to figure out how many of this I had, how much of this, and whatever going through, and I was really looking to see if I had any gaps that I
Mhm.
needed. But we've talked about um, buy what you're going to eat
Mhm.
and cook what you buy, and that's a big thing. And so what I found was that I had previously, prior to the challenge, I had purchased some different varieties of meat, and I had some vegetables and the whole to do, and I thought, you know what, I don't need to buy this or this or this
Mhm.
because it's already there.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that I kind of did my refrigerator, freezer, not so much, well, the refrigerator, yes, I had some things I need to clean out, but I really was very cautious of the things that were in the freezer because, sometimes things they slide down to the bottom and
Yeah.
you forget they're there and you may not necessarily use them. So I wanted to make sure that I was responsible and would not end up finding things down in the bottom that had been freezer burned and then would have to throw it out.
And that's
So,
the nice thing about our printable is
mhm,
that it asks us this week, I will use 3 pantry items, and I
mhm,
identified something in the freezer that I
mhm,
wanted to use for,
mhm,
like, for next week. Well,
mhm,
I guess this starts the next week. So
mhm,
I identified 3 things that I wanted to use, and, one of the things was in the freezer, one of the things was in my produce basket,
mhm,
and then one of the things was on my, extended pantry shelf,
mhm,
and so I really had to think about that, like, what is it that I need to
mhm,
use up? And then I was looking at a couple comments somewhere in the
mhm,
different things we've been posting, and someone had mentioned that she'd been making pantry meals, and one
mhm,
of them was beef Manhattan. And I was like,
mhm.
oh, I made that pantry meal, haven't made it for a while, but I
Yeah.
could because I got that beef on my shelf. I got
Mhm,
mashed potatoes. I got real potatoes, in my
mhm,
produce basket, and
mhm,
I got mashed potatoes flakes in the pantry. So I thought I can make that. And I am the gravy making queen. So I'm like, yeah, I could do that. So I was really excited to kind of learn from what some of the comments were that people
mhm,
were dropping about what they were going to do or things that they had learned in
mhm,
regards to their challenge. And then, of course, after I did the inventory and the audit, I had already looked at what gaps I had. And
mhm,
so when I went to the store for week 0,
mhm,
one of the things that I thought about was, okay, so what are the gaps in my pantry?
mhm,
What do I need
mhm,
to buy? But not only just what were the gaps, but what
mhm.
were the gaps that I needed to fill today?
Absolutely.
What were the gaps?
Absolutely. That's the key.
Mhm.
And I found, to really be honest with you, I had very few things I needed to pick up. And I came in under, I'm looking at, spreading that $500,
Mhm.
across the month because I had set it 500 and thinking 125 a week. And
Mhm.
so, as it turned out, I was able to even get below that for
Yeah.
this week. So that kind of left a little money left over for perhaps if later in the month that I have a heavier week that I need a little more. But I did find that, I have plenty of things in the freezer that I do need to use up. And I had to list my freezer meals on my pantry checklist because I want to be able to use those up so
Yes.
that I don't waste those. And
Mhm.
so, for those of you, I know quite a few of you received the pantry checklist that was in the newsletter. You should have gotten yours. And hopefully, you've had a chance to, look at it, see what you have, see what you need. If there are things that you want to change, perhaps, for instance, I looked at dry goods. Maybe your dry goods may be something heavier or something different from the things that I listed. And if that's the case, you can list your particular dry goods on your pantry inventory list and then talk about, what you have, how much you have. The Home Economist Grocery Challenge starter sheet was
Mhm.
a great place for us to be able to
Oh,
start
yeah.
to set our minds, and that really is it's a mindset. And so try to work within what we have. And sometimes I think it Denise, is not just we think it's because we've gotten so comfortable with being able to go shopping and do those kind of things, but the reality of it is that it's been the American way to be able to just, if you have the money, go buy it.
Yes.
And so, but we're realizing at this point is that we need to set some aside for that rainy day. And prayerfully, the rainy day won't come, and we'll have a little nest egg. But, we don't know. We don't know what tomorrow holds. And we've certainly had moments this past year where we've had to use some of that rainy day money because things got a little funny in,
Yeah.
in the market. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to step into week one. But before we get into week one, oh my goodness, the chat is popping.
Oh,
And let me just say, welcome to the Modern Home Economist. I'm Leona Dooley, and my
my
co-host tonight
Denise
is Miss
Jordan.
Denise Jordan. We are working together to help you become the Modern Home Economist. And the Modern Home Economist takes a little learning curve.
It is a movement.
Absolutely. And all of us can get there. We
Mhm.
may not all get there at the same time, but we can. And we're encouraging each other to
And
make
you know what, too?
Mhm.
Sorry, but I just thought
That's okay.
it doesn't matter what economic status you are at, we
Absolutely.
can all become modern home economists.
That's right. It's about the knowledge,
Yes.
because as they say, knowledge is everything.
And
Uh,
you put one of the things in the note that says something like
mhm,
what gets measured gets improved, or
mhm.
you can't measure what you don't, something like that. Where is that little note?
I'll go back and find that. I'm sure we'll run across it in a minute.
But
Um,
anyway, like my YouTube mentor Sean Kennel always
mhm.
says, what gets measured gets improved. And you
That's
said
right.
something similar to that. And so right
Mhm.
now we're measuring as we're executing. So go ahead. You were going to talk about the chat, then I started.
All right, that's okay. It's okay. We'll start with Kentucky. Stephen was here bright and early tonight. I love
Yes,
it,
Stephen.
Stephen.
Good to have you.
It takes you back to the time of when you're thinking about what is really being on time. And
Mhm.
my philosophy is always being at least 10 minutes there. Get 10 minutes early before you go. And Stephen was definitely right there, ready to go.
Yes.
So he's saying, good evening, ladies. He wanted to thank us for the idea of repurposing the leftovers. He said he's made 3 meals this week out of one Sunday dinner.
Boom.
Boom, we got it. And he loves the ideas and utilizes them often. Stephen, thank you so much for that feedback because that helps us along the way as we're developing what we're doing.
It does. And also, I noticed he said repurposing his leftovers. But for those of you who know, me and Miss Leona also follow Cassandra at Becoming a Farm Girl. And
Mhm.
she says it's not leftovers, it's
That's,
planned overs.
that's
And
right.
I love how she said that. So, Stephen, you had planned overs because you had plans for those,
For the
what was left over from Sunday dinner.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. We've got Molly with us tonight. We are so glad to have you, Molly, and glad you're with us. Molly's so great, and she just adds all kinds of good comments along the way. Psalm 146, God's glorious evening to us and everyone. And we are glad to have you here. Tamika, we're glad that you're here with us tonight. And let me go down. We've got Nitty T who's here. Yay. She's in the house with us. And uh
Susie.
Sky Skiwi.
Susie.
Susie is here with us, and she's from South Texas.
Mhm.
And South Texas, we're glad to have you here. And I think as I was looking down in the comments, there's a story, Susie, that I will share with everyone along the way. We're glad to have Hazel, glad to have you here. And Hazel's been cooking it up, and
Yes,
she's
yes.
been using our ideas as well. She said there's no snow here in Chicago at the moment. Psalms
And I
146.
think is that Andrea?
It's, I think, um,
Or is it
Psalms 146. Tell us your name.
Tell us your name again. It's been a
Yes,
weekend,
we're women of a certain age. Sometimes we forget, but not, tell us what it is. We've got Catherine here. Hello, hello. And she's watching from Central California. I pray that you are safe. I
Yeah.
saw that you had a lot of rain and snow and avalanches and all kinds of stuff going on in California. And I hope that it's not near where you are. All right. So, Susie.
Susie, we're not talking to you. We
Huh?
just may kick you out of the show. 90 degrees. Come on now.
I know. I love it. 88 is wonderful. And
Yes.
tomorrow is may break 90. Oh my goodness, bring it on.
We can only dream about it.
I know. It's hard to believe that she said that the temps are soaring while so many of us still have snow. That's absolutely right. JD's Jar. Hello, we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. We've got Florence here tonight. Hello, Florence.
Hey,
We're
Florence,
so
it's always good to have you join us.
Always. We have Pray Your Way Through, who's here tonight. We're glad to have you. Now, Susie said that she's the mama of many here, and they're definitely on a budget. She said prices at the grocery store sure aren't dropping. You are so right.
And
they are not.
We were talking about that very thing earlier before the show started. And I was telling Miss Leona that I had spent a little, just somewhere around $125, $127. But I tell you what, I didn't have that many groceries. I didn't have that much stuff. I was like, well, what? Where are the groceries?
Where are they? Where are they? That's for sure. And we have Debbie from Debbie's Kitchen here tonight.
Debbie, we haven't seen you for a little bit. Good to have you back.
Yep, glad to have you. I know last week she came in late. And so that's the reason we're used to you coming in early and chit-chatting along the way, but she was here.
Debbie, be sure and get your printable so that you can join us.
Yes. Michelle Hilliard Hodge is here with us. We're glad to have you from North Carolina. And Psalms, this is Susie. She said in that case, she said this week has been filled with struggle meals here. Someone had gotten the number to her husband's debit card and cleared out his account. So they're waiting on a refund and a new card to arrive.
Oh my goodness, that is awful. There's so much of that happening. And
that kind of goes back to what we were saying. The challenge may seem like a challenge, but somewhere we need to have a nest egg. And one thing too to bring into the fact that it's nice to have cash somewhere stashed in your house, in your little secret place.
Yes,
have some cash. And because I've had this to happen. I had it to happen twice in 2024. And I don't know if it was some shopping online or wherever they came, but I mean, they wiped everything out. Now I got it back because of insurance, but it took some time for it to happen, and they will get it back. She said, but thank God for the prepper pantry. She said she was able to pull from what she had stocked up and made it work. Praise the Lord. That is a good thing. Christine said, she's saying hello to both of us. We're glad to have you here tonight. She said she's looking forward to the challenge. She said she's hoping to do around $600 per month at Aldi's for 2 adults and 2, I love this, particular dogs. I like that.
Yeah.
And you got a real particular cat. And so, Christine, we are so glad you're here. And we have a few who's responding to
your printable, your
grocery challenge sheet.
The grocery challenge starter sheet. It's your grocery challenge starter sheet. If you don't have it, it's in our description box, so be sure to get it.
Absolutely. And if you did not get the newsletter, if you're not on the newsletter list, be sure to look down in the description box. My
Mhm.
email is there. Shoot me an email and I'll make sure you have it immediately. Um, she said she wasn't, Susie said she wasn't live last week. She said they're going to shop between Costco and their local grocery store, which is
Oh, mhm.
HEB.
I've been hearing that
Um,
on TV.
And she said starting March 1st. She said she at this point she's a little unsure of the budget, but there's eight, three adults, three teens, and two children. Oh
Okay.
my goodness. So you've got a lot of mouths to feed. So I
Mhm.
know you will work out with what those numbers are that suits your particular family. So
Mhm.
we're just glad that you're going to be a part of the challenge as well. We have TJ who's here with us tonight. Hello, TJ.
Hi,
I'm so
TJ.
glad to have you here. And jump in and give us some good tips along the way, whatever it may be. Now, Stephen said his problem
Mm.
is that he'll have a list and determination, but he said the devil starts calling his name around the clearance section, especially in Kroger.
Mhm.
He said he loves clearance sales very much. And Stephen, we've been there,
Yes.
definitely. And so we're trying, we both talked about the fact that as we're in the grocery, we are trying to use our restraint
Mhm.
and not buy what's not on the list. But it's tempting.
Mhm.
It's tempting, so tempting. And we just hope that we'll be able to um, work through it and get to our goal.
Mhm.
All right. So at this point, they're talking about some of the glass jars, but we will come back to the chat in just a little while. But we're going to talk about some of the information. I want to start first,
Oh.
because absolutely we're here, we're still learning along the way. So I'm going to add we talked about our modern home economist approach, where we're looking at the four basic systems, where we're looking at our food systems, as where we're focused right now.
Mhm.
But food, and when you deal with food, you're dealing with, of course, your time, and particularly, we're dealing with the money.
Mhm.
Now, and one system really affects the next system, and that's something to keep in mind, because yes, we do want to have delicious food on our table, but we want to be able to do it in a budgetary fashion so that we can be careful with our money along the way. And for many of us, our time is what's causing us the stress,
Yes.
because we just don't have a lot of time to put things together. So we're working intentionally. We want to make sure that we're intentional about having a plan and working the plan. So let's look at our new week. All right, week number 1. This is our discipline week. We're going to get the muscle to be able to not only do it the month of March, but we're going to, by the end of March, we want to be able to continue and feel good about what we're doing. So, one of our rules is do not go back to the store. That's the thing. Make sure that your list is complete, and that when you go to the store, you're shopping well. You're shopping exactly what you need, and you're cooking what you buy.
Yes.
That's key. So use what you've bought. You may, if you're looking ahead, you may notice, okay, especially if you have children, what is it that they're eating the most of?
Mhm.
Look at their cravings versus what they actually need. And so that may kind of help you to decide, okay, do I need to hold over $25 for next week? And maybe this week only spend a certain amount, because I know next week, we might have track practice, you might have swim team, you might have something else. They're going to need more food. So if that's the case, then the groceries are going to be heavier that particular week.
Mhm.
So notice your cravings and your needs, and track what you wanted to buy but you didn't. So, like in the case of Miss Denise, she already knows she's going to add that little bottle of garlic powder from McCormick, and so she's going to track what she really wanted to buy, but she didn't. And
Well,
so,
here's the other thing. I didn't need it this week because
mhm,
I had just put together all my spice seasonings.
mhm,
I put together your house seasoning. I
mhm,
put together the Island Vibes house seasoning and Italian seasoning.
mhm,
So, and there's pepper and garlic and onion and all of those. I didn't
mhm.
need to buy that this
This
week. So,
and so she's tracking that. So
mm,
she knows maybe a couple of weeks from now, when she goes to the grocery store, that may be something that she really needs to pick up, but
mhm.
she didn't need it this week. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at along the way. Now, also, I'm encouraging you to, and this is going to be in this week's newsletter, it's that you I would love for you to set up your meal plan. Know what the plan is from day to day.
Mhm.
And you can, as you're planning, have some meals that are quick meals, are slow cooker, one pot meals. If you might have a night or two that you have enough time to spend cooking a really nice dinner. And
Mhm.
if that's the case, make it a dinner that you can do what Stephen did, and later on prepare a new meal from what you prepared from one of those meals. So you're able to get two or three meals out of one, if that's possible. And next to that, you can start jotting down your grocery list immediately. So as you make your meal, put your grocery list in place. And then you know what you do first: shop your household. Go
Yes.
to your pantries, see what you have. And what I find is that when I put the plan down and then I go over and put everything I need, then I can start drawing the line through those things that I find that I already have.
Mhm.
And the nice thing is that by the time we get to the end, I really need very few things that I actually have to purchase at the
Exactly.
store.
And
And
let me
that,
jump in here, Leona, just for a second. When
mhm,
you're telling them to shop their pantry, let me just emphasize they want to shop their four corners pantry.
absolutely.
Shopping your freezer, your
Hmm.
fridge, your working pantry, the one you're in and out of all the time,
Hmm.
and your extended pantry if you have one. And if
Hmm.
you don't have one, but you got a deep freeze in the garage, as they call it a deep freeze, then shop that. But when we say shop your pantry, we mean all four of those places.
Hmm. Absolutely. And once you put that grocery list together, make one run, because I used to be one of those. I can tell you, I was in that grocery store probably, if not every day, at least every other day.
Mhm.
And that gets expensive over
Yes,
time,
it does.
because every time you go in, you're going to chunk it. You can't get out of the grocery store today less than 50, 60, 70
Well, not only
or
that, but you
more.
see other things that you are encouraged to pick
Hmm.
up. Or
Yes.
like when I went the other day, I was trying to think, now what did I get extra? But oh, I realized when we went down the aisle with the saran wrap and wax
Hmm.
paper and all of that, I realized, oh, I need some parchment paper. So I grabbed
Hmm.
that. I was on that aisle to pick up trash bags.
Hmm.
It ended up getting trash bags, freezer bags, and parchment paper,
Hmm.
all of which I needed, but and I probably needed it then. But if
Hmm.
I hadn't went down that aisle, I wouldn't have got them because they
Absolutely.
weren't on the list. Only thing on the list was the trash bags, but
That's
the
right.
parchment paper, I had forgotten about it until I saw it.
And that's one of those. That's how we end up with that in number going
Mhm,
a little higher and a little higher.
mhm.
Mr. Dees, tell them story of how you had shopped and then hubby went out and he did his own shopping.
So today, so I went shopping yesterday to top off the things that I needed. And he said, I asked him before I left, what do you need? And he said, get some trash bags. So that was the only thing he gave me for the list. And so that was one of the main things I made sure I got was trash bags. So today he asked for the card. because we have one debit card that's for the family budget. And
Mhm.
so he took the card to go. He said he needed to pick up some napkins.
Mhm.
Well, we didn't have any. We had paper towels,
Mhm.
some, but no napkins. So then I get this call, and he says, "Did you get toilet paper and paper towels yesterday?" I said, "Well, I didn't get paper towels because we already had some, but I
Mhm.
did pick up toilet tissue. I got one of
Mhm.
those packs that have like double rolls in the pack. So
Mhm.
instead of getting two packs, I just got one." He
Mhm.
said, "Oh, okay." Well, when he got home, he comes walking in the door, huge pack of paper towels, not the kind I prefer, but a huge pack of Bounty paper towels, huge pack of toilet tissue, paper plates, which I hate to use, and napkins. And what else did he have? Something else. But he had all these things. And I'm like, "Babe, I told you." He says, "Well, you didn't tell me you got it." I said, "Well, okay." I said, "Just give me the receipt and I'll add everything up." Because I figured no point in fussing about it because they were here.
Mhm.
They were
Mhm.
things that we do need and will
Mhm.
use. And he likes to use paper plates so we don't have as many dishes. I'm like, "I'm not
Mhm.
a dishwasher anyway. Get a dish." But
Well, and that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. But it's so we want to be able to look at the one shop having one plan,
yeah.
one shop, one grocery store run. So you know how those ones. So that means that we must be intentional as we're putting our plans together for our family. And I love the fact that now I have to admit I am the main shopper of, in fact, usually the only shopper most of the time, and unless it comes to going in Aldi's and getting apples. Now the big guy likes Aldi's apples, and that's the only place he wants to buy apples is at Aldi's. So I just let him do what he does, and he gets those apples. But that's not necessarily an every week thing.
No.
But it's one of those things that I was able to purchase what I needed on the list, and I just included the apples. I know about what they run, so I added that in.
You know
So.
what, though? Let me just mention one other thing, though, too, because you
Mhm.
were talking about one shop, one store, one
Mhm.
plan.
Mhm.
Let's talk about why one store.
Yes. You want to do it, or you want me
Well, I
to?
can start it, but one store,
Okay.
first of all, you go to one store, you know where things are,
Mhm.
and you're familiar with the prices. So you don't spend as much money when you're in a familiar store. So
Absolutely.
when I go to Kroger, I know where everything is. I even know
Mhm.
where the clearance rack is for the produce and that kind of thing,
Mhm.
manager special. So I can save money going to Kroger's just
Mhm.
because of familiarity.
Mhm.
When I go to Aldi, I kind of know where most things are, but
Mhm.
every now and then I'm walking around a couple of times because I've missed something. And the other thing that is that when we go one time, there's less decision fatigue.
Absolutely.
New stuff is
Absolutely.
popping out here and there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And with one store too, um, you're more focused.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm going in this week. I know almost always I need fresh produce. And typically, when you come into the store, that's usually the first thing you come to
Yes.
anyway. Now, you were talking about the Daniel fast. Well, of course, that was my main focus for over a month was,
Hmm.
going straight to the produce. And so I can go to the produce. And I'll be honest with you, that really carried over even beyond that because there are just certain aisles I will not go down.
Hmm.
And so it's not because there aren't things in that aisle that I might want, but it's just that I don't need those items. So I
Yeah.
kind of eliminate those. And so that's something that you will find as time goes by that there are certain aisles that just don't have what you want.
Or
And
need.
so our need, and
Mhm.
that's the key, what you need. And so because of that, you're able to navigate the store only going to those areas where you need particular things. If this is a no wheat meat, then you won't go down the meat aisle.
Well, the other thing too is when you talk about no midweek runs. When you're going in the middle of the week, now you go in there for a particular purpose, but now you're spotting things that
Oh
weren't
yeah.
on the list, but like, oh, you know what? I do need some parchment paper. So now
Hmm.
you're doing emotional spending.
Exactly.
And that's something to be concerned about as well. So one of the things that you put in the notes was if we forget something, if we don't have something, to substitute. And I did think about that this week, substituting like something that I might not have. So I would like to ask the our people here in the chat if
Hmm.
you had to substitute anything this week. I'm just kind of curious about that
Yeah.
because that's one of the things that I'm learning to do because I will Google it in a minute. And I guess it's,
Mhm.
I don't know when I'm Googling in it, if it's some kind of whose AI it is, if it's Google or Chat GTP, if somebody's AI is probably answering that question. But if I was making, what did I make the other day? It had a cream base to it.
Mhm.
Oh, I made potato soup.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I didn't have like regular milk. I just
Mhm.
had almond milk, but I only
Mhm.
had about a cup full. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, don't have enough milk. What
Mhm.
can I sub? And I Googled it. Okay, what can I sub? You can
Mhm.
sub carnation milk. You can
Mhm. Mhm.
like dry powdered milk, reconstitute
Yes.
that. I thought, okay, carnation milk I got, I'll sub that. Needed some sour cream. I thought, okay,
Mhm.
no sour cream. I had some Greek yogurt. Substitute.
That's it.
So what items did you guys substitute that way? But yeah, so
You
like
know,
I say, growth happens in the substitution.
you brought up the evaporated milk, and I know you and I were talking about that the other day. Was that I got ready for breakfast to use my milk, and the whole container, I hadn't even opened it yet, was bad.
Oh,
And the date was not even near the actual best buy date. And so I had to pour all of that out. So I needed milk. So I thought, well, I've got some canned milk. So when you have those extra items, whether it's powdered milk or whether it's canned milk, the canned evaporated milk, then that gives you a backup.
yeah.
So I was able to still use the same amount of milk that I needed in the recipe, but I was just using it from the can rather than using it out of what we would pull from our regular grocery stash.
And not only does it give you a backup, it
Mhm.
gives you options.
Yes, yes, a new option. So, what it did was when I was looking, putting my grocery list together, my next grocery list
Mhm,
is that I already know I need to add a few cans of evaporated milk.
mhm,
So, even though I had a couple on the shelf, but I know, I need to make sure that I have those there because, you just never know. And thinking about the weather, the craziness that we've had with the weather, I was talking to someone last night, and the person I was telling you that had 2 feet of snow, and they can't even get out their door.
ooh,
And so she said, it's been so bad that she was trying to figure out. She said she thought she had enough food in the house, but there were just those little things. They've got children.
mhm,
Milk was one of those things, got ready for breakfast. Kids wanted cereal. Of course, they didn't want what she had prepared. And so she said when she fixed the oatmeal, she used some canned milk and whipped up the oatmeal. They didn't see her use the can because kids are a little funny if they don't see what they're used to seeing. And so
mhm.
those are some of the things
Husbands
that
are too.
yes, yes, we won't talk about that. Yes, yes, that's so true. And so we have to make sure that we have things that are good backups just in case things change. So, if you are just now coming into our show, The Modern Home Economist, I'm Leona Dooley. This
And
is
I'm
Miss
Denise Jordan.
Denise Jordan. So glad to have you here tonight. And we are talking about our discipline week. This is where we're really getting into the discipline. And thinking teacher, we have to do it a few weeks before it really becomes a well developed muscle for all of us. So that's why you have multiple weeks. It takes a little while to get into it. So let's take a look at what's going on over here in the chat. Miss Denise, you were talking about those jars, the glass jars. And
Mhm.
Becca said that she loves the glass spice jars from Trader Joe's, and she refills them with whatever cheap spices she can find. I hear you. We do the same thing. We wash
I
them.
do too.
Me
And
too.
typically, I have those old McCormick spice jars,
Mm-hmm.
glass
Mm-hmm.
ones, and which they've replaced with these little plastic ones now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why one of those red caps just smacked me.
It, they look so nice.
Yes,
They were pretty and attractive. Now, Christine Welch, we're glad to have you here.
yes,
And she says she's one of those people who can't do this right now because she's traveling for the month of March. She said, so she'll start when she gets home. Well,
that's
Christine,
good.
you start when you can. We're so glad that you are considering
Mhm.
it. Please be sure now to pick up your your forms that you need for the challenge, and so that you will have those ready to go. Um, she's also saying that cook what we buy, but remember the challenge helped.
Yes,
Yes, you're absolutely right. Um, let's see, pray your way through. Susie, right? She set her budget, shopped her pantry, and had very little to buy. She spent $55 of her $250 budget. Ooh, 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 ooh.
yes, that is huge.
She said her problem this week was not feeling well and wanting to buy convenient food rather than cooking. And that's something we have to take into consideration. That happens to all of us.
Yes,
And that's why when you're setting up for, not so much for you, because now but for the rest of us, that when you're setting up your weekly plan, you want to have a little bit of variety in there because, you never know when you may come home and you just aren't feeling well. And it doesn't mean you have to be extremely sick. It just means it could be you have a headache or you're tired, but you have something you can go to, put dinner on the table, and do whatever it is you need to do for the rest of the evening. So I
exactly.
love it.
Well, Leona, one of the things that I learned from you, you said you like to make a soup at the beginning
Mm-hmm,
of the week. So you have a soup
mm-hmm,
for the week. And I like that idea because you can always have soup for lunch or you
mm-hmm,
can have that soup for dinner, depending upon what you're going to add to it, but you can have it either or.
mm-hmm,
But I like that thought of making a soup at the beginning of the week so you got something to go along. But then also, one of the things that I do is, let's say I'm making chili, or I'm making pasta fagioli, or I'm making whatever.
mm-hmm,
I will, since there's just the two of us here, usually I will set aside some in a container and put
mm-hmm,
it in the freezer, so I
mm-hmm.
got something in there to pull out. And
Absolutely.
because then on those days you don't feel well, or
Mm-hmm,
those days when life is lifing, you can
mm-hmm,
grab that dish out of the freezer, pop it in the microwave or pop it in the oven, warm it up,
mm-hmm.
and then you've got a meal then and there.
Absolutely.
If you don't feel good or life is light, then you don't have time to start from scratch. And
Mhm.
that's when we're in chaos and
That's right.
we have to get takeout. That's when our system breaks down. So working the system, you got something in the freezer. So let's try to encourage that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this is Susie. She says she signed up. She was able to download the grocery challenge starter sheet, but didn't get the pantry list. Now, the grocery challenge starter sheet, the sign up was not the same
Mm-mm.
as you need for the pantry list. The pantry list is in my newsletter. So just go to, I'll put it down here so that you can pick it up, but it is in the description box where you can just go to and click on it. It's my email. Several of you I know who are here tonight did exactly that. As soon as the show was over, I went and looked it up and put everybody in so that I could shoot it out to them.
Mhm.
Uh,
And while you're putting your email in for her, let me just say, we're actually two channels,
mhm,
Homemaking with Denise and Ebony, Ivy, and Time with Leona. But we're working on creating one channel for Modern Home Economists, but we're still in the process. So we're getting that piece set up. We actually have the channel set up, but we got to be able to get content over there, and there's stuff that we're doing with that. So once we get that piece solidified, then like the starter sheet, we'll have a place that you can go and get that comes from Modern Home Economists.
Mm-hmm.
However, there will be some times when you'll get a printable from Miss Leona's, from Ebony, Ivy, and Time, that you got to get from her newsletter, and you might get something from me differently. But we're working on it. I know it's confusing, and we're trying to reduce the friction, but so we'll get there.
We'll get there. We're working very hard, and I see we've got Nail 'em. And she said you can also create an album on your phone and take photos of your fridge and freezer every Sunday. So if you don't know what to cook at work, you can shop your fridge on the phone.
What a good idea.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, I love that idea. I love that idea. We have Cozy at Coco's. We're
Hey,
so
Coco.
glad you're here. Glad you're here with us tonight. We've got Mickey Blue Skies is here tonight. And if you all haven't checked out Soft Pages Studio Official, make sure that you go to her channel. It's all about planning and all the things that you need that are, for that. So be sure to give her a look-see and give her, join her community. We have Pray Your Way Through said she made use of convenience foods she prepared weeks ago and put them in the freezer versus spending money on buying something prepared that would cost her more money.
Yes.
All right. So you're using the freezer, and I love that.
Hey, let me share something on that regard. So, when we were gone for Christmas to visit my daughter, we were gone over a week. And then, we got home late from the airport, and, I was like, okay, so what are we going to have for dinner? He said, we are not going out to dinner. He was like, we are not going out to dinner. So just don't even think about it. And so I had to get something out of the freezer. But my first thought was, let's stop somewhere on the way home. He said, we are not going to stop anywhere. We are going straight home. So it worked out.
You are absolutely right. So we are, let me go down here.
Good to have you here, Stephanie.
Absolutely got Stephanie with us. It's okay that, late is better than not being here at all. We've got Stephanie said it was 80 there today and will be in the 80s all week. Now 80, she's in Texas. Yes, you rascal.
We're gonna kick you out the group too.
I know, all that warm
you and
weather.
Susie, the nice warm weather. We got cold weather, ice and snow outside.
Shoot. And here's Hazel, 85 today in Southern California.
Now they're all just flexing.
You all are bragging.
Yeah.
Covington Creek is here with us tonight at home. We're so glad that you're here with us. Renee says she went to the store today and she got 13 items for $106.87. All right.
Not many items.
Right. That's not bad at all. Ooh. At all. We're so glad. Luna Moon says she bought $70 worth of nothing. She said, and it won't last 24 hours. Well, Luna, what happened?
Yeah,
I hope you must. I bet you went and you didn't have a list. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, we will just encourage you next time to make sure that you have a list when you go, because it is so easy to spend money at the grocery store. And then you figure out, oh man, I used that. Now I don't have anything.
Well, let me challenge you too, Luna. Like you said, you spent how many dollars you spent, that you're going to make it last for several days. Use whatever you've got with some things you already have at home. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you can sort out. Let us know next week.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's right. We got Cal,
Well,
who's
I
here
haven't
with
been here
us.
in a minute.
Yeah, well, she had been under the weather.
Yeah,
And so I'm hoping she's feeling better.
yeah.
And we're glad to see you tonight.
Yes, we are.
Um, let's see, the closest Aldi to us is an hour north. She lives in a city with
Ooh,
1.5 million people, and there are no Aldis.
where is
What?
Susie? Where are
Where
you,
are
Susie?
you?
Are you in Canada?
That may be. Maybe. Where are you?
What city has 1.5 million people? My goodness.
Isn't that the truth? Oh,
Wow. What
okay.
do you have? Let us know what you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Yeah.
Um, she said that Natalie sent over the weekly message of the aunties are on. Oh,
Tell Natalie, thank you.
thank you so much. That's how we remind each other about your lives. You are so sweet, and
Mhm.
so is Natalie.
And tell
Thank
baby
you.
girl hello for us because Natalie's little girl likes to watch us too.
Yes, yes. Um, TJ said that her store is going to be Kroger for the bulk, and then for the bulk items, she'll use Costco, and their budget is $1,000 for the month.
Okay,
Okay,
that's pretty good.
okay, so you're ready to go, ready to go. And what are the kids eating? Her teenage boys eat everything and anything.
Mhm.
And guys, please jump in because I think I was talking to her the other day, and we were talking about the fact that boys tend to have hollow legs.
Yeah.
And it's like whatever they eat, it just seems like it goes down to their legs and their
Nail
feet.
'em down, they'll eat it.
Yes, yes. So it's fun. Cal said that she's hiding in the car. Oh, and Dahlia's here tonight. She said
Hey,
she's
Dahlia.
late to the party. Well, you know what? You're never too late. So we're just glad that you are here.
And you can always catch the replay.
Absolutely. Covington Creek, we're glad to have you. She said she stopped in Kroger today due to having coupons from Kroger. She bought 3 Roma tomatoes at 99 cents a pound and 3 Cosmic apples. And it sounds like you were very controlled when you went in. You knew
Yeah.
exactly what you needed and only got those
He
items.
lives in my town.
Oh, really?
Hmm, hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Debbie said she wished she had had this when she was younger, raising her kids. She said she tried to stay in budget then. She's an empty nester now and by herself, so she just buys for she and her 2 cats. Well, based on Archie, that could be pricey with those cats, but
Yes,
maybe she said she'll send it to her daughter. Well,
please.
certainly I say yay, because that's exactly what the whole idea is. We may be at a point in our lives, as ladies of a certain season, that we're at a point where some things we will do, but it may not be critical for us to do. But we have young people and young homemakers who are coming up who really need this information.
Yes.
So if you have access to some ladies, young girls who are about to become young ladies, this may be a good time to help and to be able to put that in. Oh, um, is it Susie or Andrea? Please get us straight on.
This
I
is
know
Susie.
this is Susie. That's what I
Mhm.
thought. Okay. She says she teaches community health classes, and next week's topic is meal planning.
Ah,
This topic is so near and dear to her heart. She said she doesn't always do it perfectly, but the house functions best when she does. And I am so excited.
mhm,
So please feel free to do what you need to do. And I hope that something that we're saying will resonate to
mhm.
such a way that you feel comfortable to share.
Yes.
Cal says she's shopping once a month now. All right, all right. I like, I had a one plan, 1 month set up all through COVID. And I really like shopping that way, to be honest with you.
My
Uh,
problem with once a month is I end up running out of fresh produce before
right.
the month is up.
hmm Uh, Susie said the repeated grocery store trips really add up quick. She
Mhm.
said she could run in for butter and leave having spent $70.
Exactly.
Yes, you're absolutely right. She continued here. Oh, the rest of it. She said the apples were large enough to split one for 2 days. She had three bell peppers from the markdown stand for $1.50. She
Mhm.
did splurge. The coupon for ice cream on sale, also plus $1 off, and the grapes were on sale. So
Mm.
she spent $14.52.
Sally, you rock. You
That
rock.
is some serious shopping.
Mhm.
Now, as we think about what we're doing and we're leaning into it, we when we come back next week, we're going to be deep into March.
Mhm.
And I know as I think about March, spring is upon us. We're starting to see signs of it. I know some of you may have all the snow in your yard, but once that snow's gone, you're going to start to see spring's signs of spring. But because we tend to work proactively, we want to start to look at not just our kitchen, but we want to look at the rest of our house as well. And so we want to talk about a little bit of spring homemaking reset. And as I would say, we're going to spring into spring.
Mhm.
And when you think about spring, spring really does ask a little bit of the homemaker. In the winter, we're kind of surviving, trying to, stay warm.
Mhm. Stay
But
warm.
spring gives us a chance to take a good, fresh breath. And that's what we want to be able to do. So in our kitchens, thinking spring, we're thinking our rhythm, our system's going to be lighter. We want lighter meals. That's when you're going to look at your bedding. You want to start thinking lighter colors, lighter weights, fresher ingredients along the way.
Yep.
Shorten that time in the kitchen with more skillet meals or one pot meals or even,
Fresh
you know,
veggies.
yes, fresh veggies for sure. And we must be intentional
Mhm.
with what we do. So, this challenge that we're doing right now is getting us prepared for that. So, when you think about your house at this point, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, um, what feels heavy in your home right now? I know for me, I looked around and, my kitchen is in a pretty good place, but I
Mhm.
need to do a little decluttering. And because it just seems like I've stuck, you're in a hurry and you're sticking things here and there. So I need to go back and do a little freshing of the drawers and those kind of things.
And that's me exactly too. It's like the clutter. And it's kind of funny. We're all thinking about the clutter. And I talked to Fly Lady Cat today too.
Mhm.
She called me because she had been watching Cassandra. She was
Uh-huh.
so excited about what she was doing. So she called me to talk about that. But she too, on her channel, is
Mhm.
talking about clearing the clutter.
Mhm.
And I was looking around my kitchen, looking in my drawers, and I've added a few things to the drawers to make them like you have to kind of shove them to get them to
Mhm.
close. And I
Mhm.
thought, okay, it's time for you to like, okay, this can be one task, this can be another task, but to
Mhm.
really kind of get those things under control and
Mhm.
think about what can I bless someone else with that I am no longer using. So yeah,
That's right.
clearing the clutter.
Yes, and I've got my box already. So I came up with I'm going to give you 10. I think we've got just enough time. And Miss Denise, you don't even have that in. This was something I came up with this afternoon. Now, this is I'm going to give you 10 practical tips to get ready for spring. So while we're keeping our grocery in check, these are things that we can do that no spend no spin types of things. First of all, remember when we were young and we loved playing dolls and doll houses?
Mhm.
You'd go in today and you set up that doll house a certain way. Well, when tomorrow came, you could change it around. So I was thinking we could experiment with our own home decor. It
Mm-hmm.
may be that you may want to change your furniture around just to give it a new look. Now,
Mm.
no money, just a fresh change up. That's
Yes.
number one. Number two, now's a good time to fix up whatever has been broken. For instance, if you have something that needed to be repaired and it's been sitting there looking at you for a while, or perhaps you might have said to your hubby, honey, can you just put that nail in right there? And he's kind of been walking past it because, he didn't notice it. Then you might have to go and get it and start hammering yourself, but he'll come and take over the job. Fixing up. Now I'm
What are
saying
you doing? Yes.
so, but it gives you a chance to fix those things up. So we want to replace our home decor,
Mm-hmm.
shop around our house, move things around. Then we want to clean up our windows. Now, so many times all of us are not on Fly Lady.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes in the winter, because of the heat and the rain and the snow and whatever it may be, the windows may not be something that's important at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But sometime during this month is a good time for you to pull out your spray away and to get those windows nice and shiny because we want to be able to see what's going on outside. And
Yeah.
if you can do the inside and out, this is a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is one I know Miss Denise is good at. Tidy up the garage.
Oh, yes.
Tidy your garage. And ask hubby to put those winter tools away. Once we're kind of past the snow, past that bad weather, it's a good time to be able to put all of that away and clear because not only do we need clearing and a fresh new look,
Mm-hmm.
he needs a fresh new look as well, and he just doesn't realize it. So we're going to help him get there. So this might even be a good time to purchase your seeds. I noticed that the Dollar Tree is
Mm-hmm.
starting to get seeds in. And so you can start to pick up your packets of seeds. You can plant your little herb gardens inside so that you can put them outside when it warms up. If you're going to do any type of fruit that you may want to plant, then start it inside so you can put it outside and do it during this month because we're going to see that warm up come about. Next, once the pollen season goes, that's a good time to be able to wash off that front porch and to sweep away all the sand and salt that you've had from the bad weather. And so I know today the big guy went out and he had the blower. He blew off the front porch because it was full of sand and salt that we were tracking into the house. And but we want to wait on washing the house or power washing because of the fact
Mm-hmm.
that pollen season's coming. And so we want to wait until we get past that. But March is also, and this is critical. March is a great month. Just put it in your planner that March is your month to replace the batteries on your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors.
Yes.
That's important. And just make it every March. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Because
When the seasons change and you change
Mhm,
the time, I think on that March equinox, I
mhm,
think
mhm.
smoke alarm. Talk
Take
about
care of those alarms. And of course, we're going to start decluttering and changing out clothes as it warms up. We'll do all of those things. But that's a good start. It's a good place for us to be able to um, get ourselves ready, get our families ready, because they're ready. They're ready for a warmer season.
Oh, yes, they
It's just,
are.
it's not here yet,
Mm-mm.
but it's coming. And so that brings us such hope along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at our four systems. We'll go back to that. We're looking at our four systems. choose which system that we want to refresh. Now, through the challenge, we're refreshing our food system. Hopefully, you're refreshing your time system because you're planning.
Mm-hmm.
And if we stick it within our budget or less, we are certainly improving our money systems along the way. So, which one are you planning to refresh? And which is going to be your focus in addition to your grocery, but also within the home? That
Mm-hmm.
is something that's important. And so, Miss Denise, you have anything else you might want to add in there?
One of the things that I kind of comes to my mind from time to time when I was a student nurse, I remember I was talking to one of my classmates, and we were talking about, I don't know, some condition, situation, whatever in the
Mhm,
community. I think we might have been in community health at that time.
mhm.
And she says, well, we've been doing a lot of assessing. We've assessed this, we've assessed that. She said, well, it's time for us to stop assessing and start implementing. So
Absolutely.
that pops into my head every now and then. So when I think about the modern home economists and the movement that we are trying to encourage, it's just that we don't just learn, that a modern home economist doesn't just learn, but she also executes, meaning she
Absolutely.
also implements whatever it is that she's decided to do. And
Mhm.
by the way, we don't drift, we
That's
decide.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
we don't drift, we decide. So this
Mhm,
challenge that we're having right now, it is not about how little can you spend, how
mhm,
low can you go. It's not like, oh, well, she has $1,000 budget, I have 500 and she has 250. It's
mhm.
not about that. It's about how wisely you use what you have.
That's right.
That's what it's about. So, and for those of you that are new today, one of the things we try to do with each show is give your takeaway or your modern home economist moment. And so the moment for today is a modern home economist doesn't just learn,
That's
she
right.
executes. So right now we're executing.
We're executing. This is our week one of execution, and we're strengthening our muscles. We're
Mhm.
using our muscles, getting a good muscle. And so, uh, JD's jar. If you'll look in the chat, I've placed my email there right now. Go to that email and shoot your information to me. I will certainly send last week's newsletter to you as well. I think there's one other person I know for sure who is going to be looking for that information. So, and it's also down in the description box in case you miss it.
And to get the Modern Home Economist starter
Mhm,
sheet, it's in the
mhm.
description box. Did you put it
Absolutely.
in yours today too?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
in the description box. So
And
it doesn't matter which one you click on because it comes from both of them.
mhm. It does. It does. So we'll be looking for that. Debbie's funny. Debbie said he's always buying big packs of it, even though they don't need it. They're
Toilet paper and paper
talking about her sister-in-law says her brother is the paper towel and toilet paper king, and so he likes to buy those big packs. Let's see, and they're teasing, saying, well, he'll never run out. Now let's see. Um, Kyle said that if the store is playing music, it's hard for her to get out there because she wants to dance. She loves dancing, and
Well, she must be feeling better. She's dancing.
absolutely, absolutely, and we're so glad about that.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Uh, if you think you signed up, I'm looking at Susie here. If you think you signed up, um, check your email. And then if you don't see it, put it back in there again. And then that way I can check and make sure that it's sent directly to you. Uh, Debbie said, she likes the music too. She said she got embarrassed. Her kids got embarrassed because she danced in the store. So that's funny. We got Dolores Wilson with us tonight. So
Hey,
glad to have
Dolores.
you, Dolores. And let's see, Shelly Turner is here. And she said, yes, she substitutes the evaporated milk for fresh and mashed potatoes. Yes, and they make delicious mashed
Mhm.
potatoes. Um, she says she's overheard her kiddos saying embarrassingly, sometimes my mama breaks out into random dancing. Well, they may not understand now, but one of these days they'll be doing the same thing.
Mhm.
We find joy in a lot of things. Now, Nalem said that in Egypt, we always substitute half of the meat with legumes. And she said meatballs, for example, are half brown lentils and half minced beef. That's a great idea. And that's a
That
great way
is
to
a good idea.
stretch it. And
Mhm.
in fact, I know Miss Denise and I both realized that we could use lentils in place of the meat. And
Mhm.
that so often you wouldn't even know the meat wasn't there
Right.
because in some of the soups or stews that we were
Meatloaf.
using. Uh-huh. And I love it. Um, JC, let's see. She loved using canned evaporated milk for tea, soups, candy making, and just as a substitute. And she says she's used that for years, so she keeps it
Mhm.
stocked. That's great. Uh, all right. There's a lot of chit chat.
While you're looking at that, let me just add one of the things that I did this week, though, and I was very intentional about it, was that I was, as I worked from shopping my shelves, if I took
Mhm.
anything off my extended pantry or my working pantry, then I wrote it down on my grocery list. Because I thought if I'm taking something off of here, then I need to replace it. Because I've really been thinking about how Granny Karma always said, two is one and one is none. And I learned that firsthand last week when I went to get coffee off the shelf and I took my last box of Starbucks coffee. And I'm like, oh, there's none left on the shelf now. All I have
Mhm.
is this little box that I'm working through. So if when I took that coffee off the shelf, I put it on my grocery list immediately and marked down to get two.
Mhm.
And I had a box of saltine crackers on the shelf. Well, two boxes, and I took one off the shelf. And so, okay, so now I've only got one box of saltines left. So that's what it means when you say two is one and one is none. You got two until
Mhm.
you take one. And you take that one, then you have none. So I've been just intentionally writing down those things that I take off the shelf. Now, does it mean I have to buy it at my next grocery shop? No, it may not be a priority, but it's on the list. It might get moved over to the next list just in case I need to do that.
Oh, that's great. I see Covington Creek said she made her own seed starter and will
Oh,
be putting a video out in 2 days. Wonderful. Well, we'll have to
way
keep
to
an
go,
eye out for that.
Sally. Yes.
Yeah, and share that with us because I know we could all use it.
Mhm.
And Delightfully His said that only sand and salt
Yeah.
that she's having to clean up from. Well, that's a great thing.
From the beach road.
Yes, yes, yes. That is so nice. Well, Miss Denise, we have certainly chatted a lot tonight. We are ready for our week one, using our discipline, developing our muscle, making sure that we do our shopping and then don't go back to the store, that
Mhm.
we're using what we bought, that we're taking a look at how the family's eating and then adjusting our purchases from there and track what you wanted to buy, but you didn't. Because you may find that some of the things you really wanted to buy, you may find eventually that you really didn't need to,
Mhm.
and or that you could wait and do that a little bit later. So, to all of you in the chat, we have certainly enjoyed being with
This
you
has been
tonight,
fun.
and it has been fun. And remember, we are resetting our minds intentionally. We're being good stewards of what we have, and we're providing the best for our family. So, and here's the note Miss Denise was looking for, that we cannot manage what you haven't measured. So the only way we know what we are doing is that we look at the numbers. We look at what we're doing, keeping track of it, and then numbers speak for themselves.
Pop your, I put your email address in at the very bottom. I think I put it in
Okay.
right. Pop it up on the screen. Somebody asked for it again,
Okay.
unless I don't have it right.
Let's see, the Mrs. Dooley at gmail.com. Yeah, there it is again. Okay. And I had put it in earlier as well as it's in the description box where you can just click on
I
it.
think she was looking for it. So I thought,
Yes.
you know what? Let's
Yes.
just make it
That's
easy.
a good way to do it. So let's see. She said, thank you. Okay. So we're just glad that you are here and a part of our family. We hope that you've enjoyed tonight. We certainly have enjoyed talking with you.
Mhm.
So good night, everyone. Miss Denise, I hope you had a great evening.
I did. I did. And
You
I
have
think,
anything you need to share?
well, just that we still haven't changed out anything from our um, love the love, flavor the love. What is
Mm-hmm.
it? Feel the love sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's still February, so we still have some aprons there that you guys might want to check out. And coming up this weekend, I am hoping to have my inventory video up. But if not, we'll see what you got coming up this week.
Well, this week I'm actually working on some meals
Mm-hmm.
that I think you will enjoy. I'm using that 4-part budget formula,
Oh,
and
yes.
which is working great. Being able to, really use what you buy,
Mm-hmm.
and so and put out a really good meal. So I'm sharing that tonight, and soon, I hope next week, I will be able to share with everyone and have it ready to go. But we have something. I have something for spring that is
Oh,
going to that I think everyone will enjoy. So we'll talk about that. But I am so glad that you're here and that you were able to be a part of this conversation tonight. Thank you all. And we will see you right here at the Modern Home Economist. We'll see you next week.
bye.
Bye.